We are with the New York Jets today. Some more excitement there for Coach Robert Saleh. In year 2, they had 2 top 10 picks, Sauce Gardner, cornerback, Garrett Wilson, wide receiver, hoping for more out of Zach Wilson at quarterback in year 2. Last season, last in all these categories. Points per game, yards per game, and first downs. And this is on defense last season. They weren't good offensively. They couldn't stop anybody on defense. It was a recipe for disaster. But Coach Saleh is hoping things will turn around this season. He's with our Josina Anderson.
Well, first of all, we are pleased to be joined by Jets head coach Robert Saleh for this interview. And I was out there, for practice with you guys, and I wanted to say that the optimism here is so palpable. You're already wearing that T-shirt, positive vibes only. What I thought was very interesting and just kind of getting ready to talk to you is how many people around the country are placing bets on your team to win the Super Bowl. So I'm curious how you feel about that and how you're harnessing that expectation around here.
I think they do it from a business standpoint because of the percentages, but no, you know what, it's all outside noise. You can't handle the outside noise. We have no control over outside noise. What we have control over is what you do when you walk into this building and what you do when you're outside this building and how you prepare to be your personal best. And over the last couple of years, I think Joe and his staff have done such an outstanding job of flipping the locker room and bringing in guys who absolutely love this game and love everything about it. And because it's hard enough to play the game, and then to be able to love the preparation of the game, that is not easy. And we got a really cool locker room, and it's fun to work with them.
Okay, and that's great, and that's all Coach speak too, right? But at the same time, you have to manage having those incremental steps, right? With also, why not us? When you look at what the Bengals did, going from 4 wins, right, to 10, and then being the 4th seed and winning the AFC North. So, why not you guys as far as the expectation that you're setting around here?
No, it's the same thing. You're right. Why not? The ball bounces funny ways. Can we be looking in December and we're in the thick of things? Absolutely. But all the focus right now is the first day of training camp, and I know it's cliche, but it's the truth. You never want to get too far ahead because we can't be in the December discussion unless we're taking care of our next 30 days in terms of how we prepare for the season. We can't be in the December discussion if we don't attack training camp every single day the way we need to, and then obviously preseason games and the first game of the season. So you just, as much as it's fun to look at the schedule and try to predict the future, you really got to stay focused in the moment, dominate your moment, and trust that you'll love the results.
And part of that too just comes from the personnel that Douglas was able to add to your team from the rookie class, and Sauce, and obviously Jermaine and Garrett, and some of the free agents that you guys brought in as well. I mean, can you just talk about how those specific players have raised the energy of everyone else out there as well?
For sure, you see it on the field. They're very talented. It's a dynamic group, and but it's young, right? And they're a bunch of baby lambs running around just trying to figure things out, and they still don't have their legs under them because they're playing with a bunch of 25-year-olds who are grown men in the sense of having an NFL program for the last couple of years. And even Elijah Moore, he's in year 2, and he looks so much stronger, like so different. Zach looks so different, and so the rookies are exciting, but at the same time they've got a lot of hurdles to climb in terms of being the contributors that we know that they're going to be here when they peak out. So it is fun to work with them because you see them having a lot of aha moments and figuring things out as they go. And but they bring a lot of juice to it. They're fun to be around.
Yeah, juice is definitely one way to put it, especially in the New York market. Let's talk about Zach Wilson, because obviously this team is going to ebb and flow with his maturation curve and how he evolves. I want to talk about the little things, right, with him. What are some of the ways in which you've noticed he has improved when it comes to his leadership, how he's relating with his teammates, life management, routine management, some of those things like that?
Oh, it's all of it. So he's always been good with his teammates, but he's surrounded himself with people who are going to help him achieve what he wants. He goes and gets a nutritionist. He's on this weight program to kind of be able to absorb an NFL season. He's coming in on Sunday nights, working in the facility. If we have 4 days off, he's bringing guys in the night before to make sure that we're not 4 days in a row without throwing. Like, he is doing so many little things to prepare himself to take that next step, and it's really fun to watch. And even on the football field, where a year ago if he made a mistake, it was like no clue what mistake he made. But this year, I mean, he's beating LaFleur and Calabrese to the punch in terms of, like, I know that, like, I should have went there, and those mistakes are happening less and less and less, and he's getting a lot better. Thought he had a fantastic offseason. And I know, like, he's one of those guys I trust that's going to attack these next 40 days and find ways to get even better and come into the season full ready to go.
I'm curious how you feel about the quarterback depth. I know you guys have, obviously, Joe Flacco, 37, Mike White, or what have you, but how do you compare and evaluate that relative to what's also on the market in terms of evaluating every level of this team? You know, you have guys like Baker out there or what have you, and what you're doing just to make sure that you are fully stocked with your best options.
No, absolutely. We love our quarterback room. I mean, obviously Joe Flacco is, I mean, the guy's a world champ, MVP. He is fantastic for the room. He's got such a cool demeanor, and he is exactly what Zach needs in terms of just, I don't know if I've ever seen a quarterback not overanalyze or not analyze like the way he does it. He's just like I don't need all that. Just what do you want? What's my progression? All right, and then he plays ball. Like, he is very nonchalant about the way he goes about it, but so prepared, so detailed, and on top of all his details, Mike White is so underrated as a quarterback. I mean, the guy's in the Hall of Fame, right? Had that game against Cincinnati. And so we love our quarterback room. We love where they're all at, and we think they're all capable of being starters in this league.
And you feel like those are your best options relative to what's out there on the
for sure.
Okay, and then obviously people are talking about Mekhi Becton and, you know, the fact that he's here, but obviously missed a lot of the spring and, you know, hasn't been out there since the season opener injury last year. I'm curious, how do you balance making sure that you're maximizing his performance goals and also honoring what George Fant did, you know, last season as well relative to that competition at the tackle spot?
Yeah, it is, right? Like, and all the hoopla that surrounds Mekhi with this offseason and him getting healthy, I do think people are forgetting and not talking enough about what George Fant did last year at left tackle. Thought he stepped in, had an excellent season. He's had an excellent offseason in terms of preparing himself, and really excited about him and coming in the training camp ready to roll. So, you know, this is more about George than it is about whether or not Mekhi is ready. That's not even the discussion. It's about what George has earned. And but there is balance, and we do for both of them so they can prepare. Got to come up with a decision, and it's something that we'll be able to clarify here soon.
Last couple questions. With Garrett Wilson here, I'm curious, what has been his impact on Zach Wilson when you're talking about a guy who has that level of catch radius, how he accelerates in the second level? You know, I noticed the things about Garrett Wilson before you drafted. I'll just say that. But, I mean, I'm curious how all that is impacting Zach. And then, too, on the flip side, on the defensive side, Sauce, of seeing him taking mental and physical reps even when he's not involved in a play. I'm curious what impact he's having on the defense, too, as a rookie.
For sure. So, Garrett, obviously, for both of them, their heads are a little bit are spinning, right? They're learning a whole new scheme. They're trying to get moved in. There's a lot of stuff going on for these rookies. But I do think, you know, speaking for Garrett, you see the flashes, and then you see the coachable moments where he's realizing that it's not as easy as it was in college. Like the detail, the strain, the precision at which he goes about his business in terms of route running, the amount of work that needs to be done in the weight room. He's going to be a special talent. He's got ridiculous body control. He does have great radius. He's got unbelievable hands, but there's a lot on his shoulders. And when you're thinking all those traits, all those talents are going to fall back a little. But he's a very smart young man, and he's growing quickly. From day one OTAs till now, he's gotten better every day. And then Sauce, Ahmad.
Yeah, Sauce.
We'll go Ahmad until he makes a play, right? But okay. No, he's cool. He is long. Same thing. He's a really tall, lanky kid, but you don't see it in his transition. I mean, he's really good out of transition, and it's going to be the same thing in terms of power and gaining that lower half strength. But I mean, he's talking the entire day, which I love. I want him yapping. Just keep
trash talking or just talking like
both.
Okay, all
both.
of it. Okay.
but talking about scheme, communicating with, already communicating. I love his mental makeup, and both those kids are going to be really good.
And then lastly, talking about you, obviously you're coming into your second year here. I'm curious, when you walk into this building, what's the thumbprint that you see of yourself on this team? And then lastly, too, in terms of maybe something different that you're doing now that you weren't doing last year.
Oh, man. I don't like talking about myself.
That's all right. We do.
No, I don't know. I think the first part of the question would be a question for someone else in terms of, I'd like to think that there's a positive vibe in this building in terms of trust, that everyone's going about their business, everyone's being evaluated equally, and that we're all being asked to do the same things. There's no favoritism. There's no, you just come in here, do your job the way you need to, and enjoy being here. I hope, but again, I'd probably be a question for someone else, but as far as doing something different, it's, I don't know if it's different. I believe messaging is pure. Messaging is who you are. If you try to change your message, you can become fake in a hurry. And I think what's exciting about this year is that the language barrier between coaching staff and the scouts and the players and everybody in the building has kind of dropped a little in terms of us understanding each other and even getting nonverbal cues from one another. So I do think we've grown as an organization, and we're moving into that level of accountability where I think the locker room is starting to understand, like, in a perfect world, the locker room controls itself, and the best coach teams are the ones that coach themselves. And so hopefully we're moving in that direction. I feel like it's moving in that direction, and we got a really cool group of people to work with, and so hopefully that answered your question.
Yes, it did. Coach, we appreciate your time. Of course, all gas, no break.
All gas.
All right. All right, we appreciate it. Back to you guys.
Thank you.
Good interview from Josina Anderson there with the Jets head coach, Robert Saleh. And here are some offseason moves, at least the notable ones. They did lose Jamison Crowder at the wide receiver position, but they've done pretty well trying to replace him there with Garrett Wilson, a top 10 pick, along with Ahmad Gardner. Coach Saleh saying that they won't call him Sauce until he makes a play. And then they also added edge Jermaine Johnson as well in the first round.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.